Hello there. It's been a dark time in history. A very, very dark time. And this channel has had some fun. Too much fun. Instead of helping the downtrodden, the disadvantaged, and the unprivileged, we've been silly. Too silly. But the silliness cannot go on forever. There must be an end. From this point forward, we're going to talk about something much more insidious than the deep basslines and rumbling pow-pows of music. We're going to talk about politics. That's right. It's time to use our voice responsibly. And to do that, we must do away with one jacket and do forth with another. After all, there's nothing more fun and important than politics. We're not doing just any politics. No. There's an election around the corner. We're doing American politics. Starting right now. Nancy Pelosi, elections, caucus, and some other sessions. There's a lot that's been going on in the world of politics, and we need to have a talk about all of that. There's an election right around the corner, and one of them's really old. Actually, they're all kind of really old. They're all running for the president. And someone's passing something in the Senate Minority Bill. I think that something's happening down there in the House of Representatives too. That's probably something we should be looking at. But while we're talking about looking at things, why isn't anyone looking at all the media thing? But then we've got this thing we got to worry about with these people doing these the voting. Where are all the mailboxes? I don't know where the mailboxes are. Someone's taking all the mailboxes. Oh shit, look at that. The mailboxes are back. It's all okay. We've got lots of mail. And it's really important to remind people that they've got to go do something sometime soon. Like, I don't know, this politics thing is quite harder than I thought. Maybe we should take a walk and cool down. Yeah, we'll take a walk and cool down. Now, something or other with these candidates being all like crazy and stuff. They got to do the debate, but they can't do the debate. They probably should. Did someone win the debate? I can't remember if anyone won the debate. There's lots of talking. Someone should press a button to stop them talking. Amazon too. Amazon. Too much money. We need to take the money, but also kind of cool how they got all that money. No. We don't like it. But we kind of. Some of us like it. How do you even get that rich? That doesn't make sense. Maybe it's the American way. I don't know. Oh, no, I do know. I'm politics, so I know. The election, someone has to win the election, but if someone wins the election, there's some unhappy people, and if someone else wins the election, then there's some unhappy people. No one's going to be happy. Well, the media is also a problem, but is the media, but the president also a problem? Do we like the president? No, maybe we don't. But we don't like the media. They're the same, are they different? Okay, we don't like them, maybe we should decide on someone's trade policy. What is the trade policy? Nothing here about trade policy. I don't know. And was Russia manipulating something? I think there was something about who. Maybe China's. I don't understand, really. Oh, this politics is harder than I thought. I thought politics was going to be a walk in the park, but I'm freaking out. None of my notes say anything about. I don't know about that. Get voted for. Be president. Yes, everyone can be president. You just go do it. You get the guys, you get the money, you get the votes from the people. It's super easy. If all men can do it, can all people? Maybe all people get that. I don't know about that. Do we want people out of the country? We want some people in the country, but not those that no. But yes. Okay. I think what's important to remember is that there's lots of different things to be angry about. Don't be angry. Be not angry at but be angry at yes. Yep, that's right. So, okay. Well, that got out of hand. That was much harder to do politics than I thought it was to do the politics. So no more politics from now on. Just psytrance, electronic music. I promise there will be no more politics. The House moves to pass a motion, electoral lines are drawn, and caucus is in session. After all the fun and games that we had with Xenomorph's release on Gamma Draconis, it's only fair that we dig into his older works and figure out what this guy's all about. Demagoguery of the Obscurants is the album we'll be looking at. Hard to find and even harder to get your hands on physically. Looks like the invisible hand of the free markets can't help us here. The album is a dark, angsty and industrial piece of work. With a message. What message? A message. Released in 2007, it was the last album that we heard from Xenomorph. And the last time that some of us had heard Xenomorph at all, until recently. So I guess we can say a couple of words about it then. Have I told you guys how much I like basslines yet? What about big kicks? Riffs? What about cool track introductions? Well shit, I like them all, so how am I not meant to like Prognosis? How about by saying something kinda cunty, like how the guitar riffs didn't quite grip me, sounded a little elementary, and didn't quite add the darkness to the track that they should have. But then it all works out by adding some broody top layer that drives, spins, and doesn't engage in the predefined discourse set forward by the media conglomerates. It's a pretty decent opener and sets the scene for the rest of the album. Or maybe it doesn't. It certainly doesn't matter, because the capitalist infiltration has already arrived, and you know what? I look around and it's not so bad. An abundance of samples make this track rotate and scramble, and you know what the weird thing is? It probably would have been just as good without them, which is a half compliment, and is a good thing. Like looking after your investors the way a responsible damn broker should, using any means necessary. And sometimes that means you gotta overthrow a territory or two. Or don't. Probably better if you don't. The squelching leads grind their way through the dark corridors towards some secret society, and work in unison with the pitched out singing. The polls are in and tell me that this track would turn a dance floor under a full blood moon into a bunch of werewolves that howl to the rhythms of Tindaloo. I can see why Xenomorph gets slapped with the apocalyptic trance label. But I've got something better for you than the apocalypse. Have you heard about consumption? Oh shit, yeah, consumption. It's this thing. What's up? Super sick, and being enslaved by it? That's the only enslavement I like. Largesse and excess, crepuscule darkness, the sirens of Hades, and the aftershocks of legislation written in the 80s. Xenomorph has got the formula and mandates that we get prescribed 3 hits of it. The second half of this track lifts us out of danger, through the gloom and the glum, the hypocrisy and the pain, and into a brave new world, where I can tap and go on whatever I like. I'll take one of these, I'll take one of those, this and this, and every single one of these. This, and this. I'll take 3 of everything, please. Maybe that wasn't the point of that track. Well, the next one is a Green New Deal, co-signed by crossbench partisans who share a vision of the future where citizens are true governors of their own lives. Totalitarian Democracy is the name of this song, and it gives us a strong hit of coherent vocals for the first time so far. The guitar riffs are harder and sport a rough edge, while lasers shot from the original H1 Tong space phaser that started this whole downfall fly over us with amplitudes of high voltage, low resistance. Which brings us to today's sponsor. That's right, the H1 Tong space phaser is the ultimate in taking down societal structures, complete with rough edges that turn all the neutrons inside out to expose all of the protons. The #1 proton exposing gun. Yes, we love the H1 Tong space phaser. But don't take our word for it, here's some of the testimonials from our clients. Without the H1 Tong space phaser, I would have never been able to travel back in time interdimensionally to plant the idea of Homo economist into the simple minds of those industrial beings who just figured out coal. They really liked coal. Yeah, the laser thing is fine or whatever. Yes, many customers. Happy. Now where were we? Oh yes, the lasers shoot over us with amplitudes of high voltage, low resistance. That's right. Not a lot of microfarads exist here, and therefore very little is stopping us from creating a head-butting mosh pit that smells of cigarettes and alcohol. It'd be interesting to see what rock and metal fans have to say about this track, but I'd say they probably, maybe, might like it a bit. But if this is a little bit too rock and roll for you, then that's okay, I understand. But stick around for the next track and maybe you'll get a hit of something that you like. It still has singing, but not in your face singing. No, sweet singing. Secret Satanic Hierarchy is a dreamy, cutesy piece of a song. I got told to expect nightmares, but I'm out here lucid dreaming under the silkworms of Xerxes' rave cave. Xenomorph is a sweetheart after all. This time I think the vocals add a deeper dimension, and I do appreciate it more when they're sung at me, rather than shouted at me. Everyone's always shouting. I'm so tired of the shouting. The funky break beat at the first break is neat, and then we get angelic singing, clashes of bells, more yelling, tape deck bass lines, and neon brown acid lines that shoot through the black tunnel of this track. A favourite from the album that is as apocalyptic as it is dreamy, a mix of emotions that isn't often elicited inside of me. Harbingers of Extinction passes my Senate minority bill with a Senate majority vote 32-17. It's an exquisite wonder of bipartisan connoisseurship. The angelic overlay did make me think of churches, and churches make me think of politics. But that ain't a thing, because it was a pretty church painted in black, with God Skull gargoyles and post-it notes strewn all over the place. Every act of this track changes into something new at a frequency that quite frankly is perfect. Listening to it again and again, and again, and again, and again, does nothing but extend and recreate the good time that this track gives me. Or maybe it's just that soma I took earlier. I don't think so. It's a glitter-covered nitroglycerine banger. The finale ends with CIA satellites of particle accelerators over our heads as everything comes together in a consensual, adult-only, broom-covered orgy before we go back to plotting the downfall of everything. Economic sabotage is a rhythm of dark strokes that's part of a symphony of checks and balances that get thrown out of the window and into the laps of the deep state. Close your eyes bang your head to the beat, and dog whistle to the anarchists as you cast a donkey vote and stick your 2 middle fingers up in the air to whichever system of governance you feel like. Cataclysmic Downfall is one example of Xenomorph finding absolute balance and flow with just enough of everything. A Bill of Rights, a stable media industry, a motherfucking constitution. Drops of evil slide down from the roofs of this track as the ivory towers that line this avenue deteriorate all the way down to ground floor. The Doppler effect of speeding automobiles shift this track into 6th gear as we hit 233 kilometers per hour and speed through metallic wastelands of shipping containers. Ah, fuck! It's that thing we've been trying to avoid, World War III. Well, if it's here, we may as well embrace it and throw some bricks at something. The bright, idiophonic tingles that sit overhead stop this track from getting as dark as it could have been. They come back in a little bit more recessed after the midsection, which is exactly where they belong, under the sickening thumb of unaccountable legislation that has no right of appeal or tribunal oversight. Well, it's the final end. It could have been supervolcanoes, complete economic devastation, global warming, George Soros, social media societal upheaval, but in the end it was nuclear winter that got us. Ironic in a way. This would be the track to play if you find yourself walking into an underground war room to aggressively hang the phone up on somebody and push a big red button. Everything goes to grayscale, rockets launch in slow motion, and a curtain in a mansion somewhere blows listfully in the wind. Who keeps leaving these fucking windows open? It's a cinematic closer to the album that doesn't wrap anything up but rather leaves us here in the midst of all this broken glass and frostbitten rubble. That's my kind of holiday. A life spent subjugating people who think a little bit differently from us is all for nothing as the mushroom cloud settles just in time to form a new class, currency and debt system. Because what the fuck else would we do with our free time? Oh shit, Xenomorph. Oh no, you went and done did it. You made us get all political. Now it's not like me to make predictions and generalizations about groups of people of which I'm not a member, but if I was gonna make one, I'd say that Xenomorph sits right here, in this neat little crossover point between metalheads and trance dancers. Now I can see how the undertones of having something to say can be a bit of a turn-off. After all, we're dealing with a style of music that can vibe all of that in spirit, but doesn't feel the need to make a big song and dance about it. I get it. But if we've learnt anything here today, it's that politics can be fun. I think that's what we've learnt. It's not the kind of escapism that takes us through the bright recesses of the universe, through bouncy gas giants and onto UV-soaked dance floors, but is a different kind of escape. One in which there's a fantasy universe with a society, which is made up of beings who are either so assured of their own ideologies or completely consumed by nihilistic hubris that even as shit falls down around them, they just keep on keeping on. Or maybe they like building so much that sometimes they just want to tear it all down so they can build it all back up again. Forever. And ever. And ever.
Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport, or lust, or greed. Yea, he will murder his brother to possess his brother's land, for he is the harbinger of death.
And politics.